Welcome to DFS Insights, where the game behind the game comes to life. I am David Geislinger, and the teams up on the block are the Oklahoma City Thunder at the Dallas Mavericks. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get kind of excited. Here comes Game 6. It looks like Dallas could potentially take over and win this series here, but and they're doing in front of the Dallas home crowd. So yeah, with that, let's go ahead before we get into the Game 6 recap or the Game 6 breakdown. Let's go ahead and head over here to Game 5 and see what happened there. So, look, Game 5, it looks like, obviously Dallas won 104 to 92. Top three fantasy scores were Luka, PJ Washington, and Derrick Jones for the Dallas Mavericks. And then for OKC, it was SGA, Jalen Williams, number one, and Dort as the third up. The optimal lineup for that for Game 5, Luka at MVP, SGA at star, Dort at pro, Giddy snuck in there at utility, and then Derrick Jones. I think he split with about three other people. So yeah, not too crazy of a lineup there. And then here's my projected ownership for Game 6. Looks like Luka and SGA about the same. You get quite a bit of leverage there going Luka at the star position, but yeah, so use this to make those unique lineups, because that's what it's going to take to win that 25K to first. You need to be unique, and you need to be kind of creative with your lineup. So with that, let's go ahead and head over here to Game 6. Game 6, Dallas coming in. They are the favorites. They are at home. 3.5 points favorites with a 209.5 over under. Offensive rating 109.7. Defensive 109.9, so about even there. And the pace of 92.3. And then obviously the inverse for Oklahoma City Thunder. No real big news. Luka still game time decision, but he's playing. There's no doubt in my mind. Looks like he's playing better now that he's, I guess, having quote-unquote fun and not arguing with the refs the whole time. He looked a whole heck of a lot better last game. And then obviously Klebler is still out. There are a few other outs, but the players probably wouldn't play anyway. So yeah, with that, let's go ahead and head over here to my three key player breakdowns, and I'm gonna do a little bit different. I'm gonna give you the players who I think have the best leverage in your overall lineup construction. So this will help you potentially make that unique lineup. So with that, the first player that I have here is Mr. Luka Doncic. However, with that leverage play, as I mentioned, I like him in the star at the 16.5K, 16.5 salary. He's playing about 41 minutes. Usage 27.7. It has dipped slightly. He's averaging 52.3 and projected 53.8. He is projected the second highest, so SGA at there. Like I mentioned, I like him at the star for that leverage. Because he's averaging about 45.5% at the MVP ownership wise, and then star he's averaging about 18.5. So with that, he just had probably his best game of the series. So I think the MVP numbers will go up and his star position will go down, because obviously people are moving from the star there just due to that recency bias. Last matchup, he was slightly a lot lower because his performances up until Game 5, he was at 30.1 MVP and 23.7 star. So I think it'll go back more towards that average, where he's probably going to be 40 plus in MVP and probably high teens, low mid teens ownership. So with that, you putting Luka in the star, obviously you got to hope that, SGA more likely, or Kyrie, gets that MVP position so you can fully benefit, or it's at least a close enough to where, you being unique still puts you, in that range there. But yeah, so that's my first leverage play there. Obviously, I will be having Luka in both MVP and star positions, but to use him primarily at the start just for that leverage to try to set myself apart from the field. So with that, heading over here to my second pick at leverage, Mr. Daniel Gafford. He's been surprisingly doing well consistently. That's different from how I've seen him in the past. But I like him both at the start. And last game he was at 0.7% star and 8% pro. He's coming off his second worst performance of only 20.9 fantasy points. So I think due to the recency bias, his ownership should even go down. He'll probably be in, less than 0.5% in the star, and probably 5% or so in the pro, and then I bet you bulk of his ownership will come in that utility. So to set yourself apart, putting him up in that star, up in that pro position, because we have seen him even in this series, get up to 45 fantasy points in 27 minutes. So if he can have another performance similar to that, or even from game 4 where he's getting 30 fantasy or 28.6 fantasy points, that could set yourself up really nicely in the pro. And then if you hit that higher 45, it'd be really nice to have him in the star as well. So I'll be utilizing him in both of those spaces in my lineup constructions. Moving on here to my third pick. Yeah, I'm going with Dort, Lucianus Dort. Haven't been too fond of him, but he's actually been doing, fairly well. So coming in at 9.5K salary, his minutes 35.2, usage 15.5. He's averaging 23 fantasy points, which is pretty good. He's projected about basically his average. I do primarily like him in the pro position. So his average ownership is only 3.4% in the pro and about 16% in the utility. So that's why I'm saying pro is where to go. So and even last game he was less at 2.7% pro and 20% utility. So definitely putting him up there. The only unfortunate thing kind of with this to pay attention to is he did have the best game of his series. So his pro ownership will probably slightly go up, but I don't see a lot of people putting him in. So I think you'll probably only see a maximum 5 to 8% ownership in the pro position. So with that sets you apart, especially if he has another decent game to even get him up to mid 20s would be great there, or even like he did in game 4, about a 29.6 fantasy point production night. So with that, he does have the potential. He just needs to stay out of foul trouble and get that shot to fall early to see it. So yeah, with that, those are my 3 key players, or 3 leverage plays of the slate. So again, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're trying to cover as many of these NBA games as we can here. So, this is game 6. So hopefully, potentially this goes one more game, so we can cover one more of this. We do get, the privilege here to cover game 7. Coming up, probably the next video would be, that Denver Minnesota game 7. That should be an interesting game on how that breaks down. So with that, again, if you have any, additional players, any other information you want, how I see leverage on other players I can see, just go ahead and drop those in the comments. Be more than happy to give you my take on that. And with that, good luck. Hope to see you up on that leaderboard.